Hi everyone. Let's try to provision our front end using Terraform. So as discussed in this scenario, we are trying to build an application architecture. And if you have seen the previous videos in this playlist, we are actually building an application workload and an administration workload. And we already have created in the previous videos two VNets and we have connected these two VNets using Terraform. Now in this video, I'm going and establishing a front-end business logic servers and database. So if I jump into this, so this VNet is nothing but in a detail as this picture. Now here I'm going to create a Windows machine which is having Microsoft IIS server installed in it. And similarly, in the next coming videos, I'm going to create a machines which has the Microsoft Dynamics and similarly a database. And this is an internal load balancer which will manage the requests and route it to the respective backend targets, which are the nothing but the business logic servers. And we have an application gateway which will take the request from the users and it will route to the front-end servers, which is Microsoft IIS. So let's create first an IIS servers, and then we can go ahead and use this Microsoft. Then we can create an application gateway and everything. So here I need multiple machines, but I'm not going and manually installing IIS in it. You can go and check how did I install IIS in the Windows machine, and I made a custom managed image out of it. So this is a playlist which you can actually refer to in creating how do we create a Windows managed image. Once I create a Windows managed image which has IIS installed in it, I am going to store that in the resource group called images-c India RG, and that is in the C India Central India location. And this is the image which is a Windows image which has IIS installed in it. Now, so when I'm creating this virtual machines here, I'm not going to choose marketplace Windows image, but the my image which I have it. So in your production, usually we prefer to choose VM images which has all the security uh, updates established and everything, and then we create our machine. So in that we can have our prerequisite loads, workloads and everything installed in it. And from that we create machine. So it's the same scenario I'm going to choose here. So I'm going to create a text file at this point of time and I wanted to get the data of the existing image here. So I'm not creating in Terraform, but I wanted to get the data which is already there in the Azure. So for that in Terraform, you're going to choose Terraform Azure image and here if you see this is actually to create an image, but what if I wanted to get the data with the data sources is the one which will help us to get the data of the existing image. So if I look at this Azure data space Azure image Azure underscore image and I'm going to name it as Terra app frontend and this one is the name of the image is frontend C India image. Going to copy that and it is in the resource group. What is the difference between the previous resources which I created it and this is going and reading fetching it? Because if you see the previous resources, we use the tag name called resources, but here if you see the tag name is data, so it is asking to pull the data from the existing subscription. And once that is done, I have to create a Windows virtual machines. So for that, the template is Terraform Azure Windows virtual machine and this website it will point out to. So I need a network which I already have it. I need a subnet which I already have it, and I need to create a network interface card and I need to create a virtual machine. So if I go in the previous videos, I have created for Terra app the network, and then for the front end, the servers, I created a subnet. I'm going to choose that right now here. For that, I'm going to copy this one, paste it here, and here I'm going to name it as Terra App front end, and the resource group where I wanted to create this, I wanted to create this services in the Terra app. So I'm going to copy this and mention the Azure RM resource group. The referencing is Terra app. So the main reason, if you see why am I choosing the naming convention is accordingly based on this. Now this is still has to be changed because I didn't still copy the Azure RM network interface card where the NIC has to be created for the VM, right? And I'm going to leave that as one core 2 GB RAM. And here, if you see, I'm not going to choose an image from uh, from the what do you say? This is Azure Virtual Machine, but this is a old one. If you see, I'm sorry with that, I just confused you guys. So this is Azure RM Virtual Machine. This has been right now superseded by we have to use separate Linux functionality or Windows functionality. Based on that, we have different resources to create. So I'm choosing Windows machine, so I have to choose this one. So this is an updated one. I always recommended to go with the updated one because Terraform is giving an updated one because they can provide extra features and everything. So when I go and copy this, so it will be almost the same. So but minor factors will be added here. So this is Terra app front end, and this one is the resource group is Terra app, and the example names is front end C India, and the it is it's not standard F2, but I will prefer standard D1 DS1 V2, and then I'm going to leave the username. I'll just change the username here, and it's trainer, and the password is Indian at the rate 1234567, and the Azure RM interface card I still have to choose that, so I didn't create it, so I'm leaving as it is. Now here if you see the OS image preference and everything, this has to be changed. This is not from the marketplace, but I have to choose uh, from the existing images which I have. So the images front end see India, right? And so if I search for it here in Terraform, it is talking about a source image ID. It is not in any block. It is just in the block of the resource itself. So it is saying that you can copy the image ID here. So instead of this, I'm going to mention source image ID because here if you see one of the either source image ID or source image reference when you're trying to take from marketplace. But if you're trying to take it from the image gallery, shared image gallery, or from the managed image, you can choose source image ID. And the ID is nothing but it's from this one data dot Azure image. So I'm taking the reference from that, and then from there reference is Terraform app ID, front end ID, and it will take the ID of it and it will provide to it. So this is how can write it, and so I have to include network interface card. Let me include that. Now this is the same. The nick is for the Azure network interfaces for front end, and it's front end C India nick, and the resource group is Terra hyphen app. So it's going to, when I go for referencing it, it's going to create an app hyphen C India Archie. So this is good. Now, in which subnet do we have to create this nick cards? It is in this subnet. So I have to reference to the exact subnet which I am creating. If you see Terra app subnet front end, and it's going to be a dynamic one. That's good. I don't want to create any public IP addresses because as per this architecture, it should not have any public IP addresses. It should only having should be connected to the application gateway. So this is good. Uh, and I can only create right now one machine. But before I go and create, I wanted to validate as per the syntax it's right or not. So for that, I have to go and check instance. I'm going to mention front end instance.tf. I'm going to this all files. I'm going to save it and I'm going to validate it. How can I validate it? So these are the ones which are there. Frontend.tf is the front end instance. So I'll do Terraform validate to check as per syntax it's correct or not. And I see there is a issue here. That is because, okay, now you see I didn't change the network interface card referencing. So that is what it was trying to say, that I don't know what is the example here. I didn't see any Azure RM network interface which was being referenced with example in Terraform. That's what is the error is trying to say. So I'm going to copy that here and paste it here and save it. And now I do a Terraform validate. It's success. So there's a reason why, as per syntax, we are right or not, we look at it using Terraform validate. Once this is done, I can want it to check in terms of runtime if we are getting any errors using Terraform plan. And if it is showing what all resources are being created, then it is great. If it is throwing any error, we can get to know what is that error. So it's going to take a couple of seconds more. Now we can have more than one machine, right? So that's what I'm trying to say, that right now it will only show us that we are creating one machine. If you see, it's one Windows virtual machine and one network interface card and everything. But I wanted more than one machine. So for that, I'm going to use the feature called count here, and I can mention how many uh, I wanted. So I'm using three here, count as three. And similarly, I'll choose the same thing here, count as equal to 3. So I wanted to create three machines and that from the same image. And the name should be, so I'm going to use interpolation, and that is count.index. So it's going to give me front end C India VM 0, VM 1, 2, and all that. So I'll choose the same thing here. And so this is good. Front end C India. So here, if you see network interface card, you have to reference it to count.index. And I think we are good. So I'll save this and I'll check as per validation, do we have any errors or not. So it is successful here. So what did I just do? I wanted to create three VMs. So it is going to create for each of this, it is going to reference at VM1, VM2. So count.index, it starts from 0, 1, 2. So three times. So that's the reason why I added plus 1 so that it will come as 1, 2, 3. And next one, so there will be three network interfaces. So that is why I am referencing with count.index. So if it is going for count 0, that means it's going to give the nick 1. And if it is going to give going to 2 1, it is going to give the second one 2, it will going to give the 3. So that's how in terms of array I just did it. And let's do Terraform plan right now, and let me see if I'm getting any runtime errors here. So let's wait for a couple of seconds. So it is trying to show that 16 resources getting created, and if you see one, it is three VMs, front end 2, which is named as, if you look at the VM name, here it is, VM name front end C India VM3, and the similarly for this 0, it is going to take as VM1, and for front end 1, it is going to take as VM2. So this is how this machines will get created. But we have to observe one more thing. As I'm trying to take an source image ID from this, the computer name, if you look at one option, there will be a computer name inside the machine. So that will be of this image only. So no machines in a particular VNet should have the same computer name, and that is going to throw an error. So I'm going to change the computer name here. So first I'm going to look here, what is the computer name? So what is the argument which I have for computer name? And we have one argument, and it's not coming any of the blocks as such. It is coming within the resource block. So I'm going to take that and mention here computer name equal to uh, usually should not be more than some size. So I'm going to bring that to front end 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it's we can bring it to C India, front end C India. So this will be lesser than 15 size. So this is good. So this is going to be a computer name, and I'll check here if there is any syntax issue. And if we do the Terraform plan, it will show us the computer name, what it be the computer name for each of the VMs. So this will not throw an error when we are trying to run in the when we are sending the API calls and everything through Terraform apply. Now I have this VMs which can be created in this way, but I have to also do is I wanted the machines to be highly available. So I can choose availability set as an option, or I can choose availability zone as an option. I prefer availability zone. So how would I create an availability zone? I'll copy this and I look for zone here. So this is not on zone. This is time zone, and we have here seen you can see the availability zone. So this is not coming in any of the resources, sorry, in any of the blocks, like the way it is coming in OS disk cache. So I'm going to prefer zone here and mention it should be either 1, 2, or 3. So I'm going to use the same one here, but it should able to. So for 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, it's fine. For what about the count dot index is like count is 6, 7, 10, 100 and all that, then it is going to just get difficult, right? So I have to mention here percentage 3. So percentage 3 will give me always reminder 0, 1, 2, and I'll add +1 for that. So it will be uh, accordingly. So it's more easier here. One to get the zones, it will be either this equation will always lead me to 1, 2, 3, and I'll save this and I will right now do Terraform validate. That's successful. And if you see the right now the computer name in each of this virtual machine is, if we look at the computer name, it's right now FNCIVM3, so that it will not create any issue while you are trying to do Terraform apply. So I'll do a Terraform plan right now, and it will create in three different zones. Each machine will be in the each zone. So we'll even look at that right now within a couple of seconds. So we are trying to do is use the zone way. If you so when be just be to be one more check, when you're creating a managed image, you have to ensure that they are zone resiliency, because I'm using zone point of view. So when I choose create my managed image, if you can check in the previous videos of that playlist which I just referred in the start of the video, you can actually understand how we can go for a zone resiliency in a managed image. You can just have to select the option. And if we see here, one machine is in zone 3, one machine is in zone 2, one machine is in zone 1. So this is how it is. So if I go for 6, it is accordingly, it will create 6 virtual machines in each of the zones. That's why I preferred, when I'm choosing, I preferred a reminder option. So which reminder is comes with prefix. So here Terraform plan, and I'll have more resources if I when I chose 6. So it's 3 for sixth machine and 2 for third, fifth machine, like that. One, and similarly if you go for another one, 3, 2, and 1 for the other machine. So this is how it is going to create. So I'm doing it right now. As an example point of view, I'm choosing only 3, and I'll go ahead and do a Terraform apply. So that is Terraform apply auto approve. So this is going to take 4 minutes like that for the deployment to complete. So let's wait for that. I mean, I'll pause the recording. So the deployment got succeeded. So if you wanted to review, let's go and review this, and I'll refresh this. I could see two VNets being created, VNet admin and VNet apps India. And we can see the peering has been established to both these VNets. And now we have three VMs. One is with VM1, VM2, VM3, and both are actually being created in the subnet front end. So if you see, there are three IP addresses which have been shot because they're already being utilized here. And if I go into this each of these VMs and I go into the networking, we could see that they are in the part of subnet of front end, these VMs. So this is how it has been done. Only thing is right now we can't validate whether the IAS is installed is running on that right now. But one thing we can do is uh, after the setting up the application gateway here, uh, we can the public IP, once we send a public request from here or browser HTTP request, that it should be routing it to the front end. So in the next video, we'll be deploying an application gateway and we'll add all these VMs back into the application gateway using the Terraform. Stay tuned to the channel. Thank you.